Hello and what is up YouTube? My name is G3Iron and today we just got announcements about changes to the Atlas for the upcoming 3.10 Delirium League. I just now saw this announcement myself, so you'll all be jumping in and reading along with me and getting live reaction as this will be my first read through. So without any further ado, let's jump right in. In the Conquerors of the Atlas expansion, we heavily revamped the endgame, adding 5 new bosses and drastically altering how players explore the Atlas. Today we'd like to talk about some of the changes that are coming to the Atlas of Worlds in Path of Exile Delirium League. One of the main pieces of feedback we saw was that spawning Conquerors felt too random. Yeah, you can say that again. Previously, you would randomly spawn Shaper and Elder Influence on your Atlas, and then we were able to deterministically push the influence around to spawn the Elder Guardians and the Elder itself. We want to bring some of that determinism back into the Atlas. Here's our current plan. Ooh, this should be spicy. Okay, beginning after you're first able to fight the Awakener, so that would be after what, your 20th Watchstone, you'll need to spawn influence in a region. This influence will spawn randomly, but with a high chance. Once influence spawns in a region, you'll see a new icon and bar next to your Atlas inventory where your Watchstones can be stored on the left. This bar is segmented into either 5, 7, or 9 sections. The first, middle, and last segment in the bar represent maps that contain influenced monsters and outcomes. In the following screenshot, the first map has been completed with the third and fifth map still yet to be. All right! That's awesome! So we're actually going to be able to see, hey, what do we need to do in order to progress our Conqueror fight and our hunt for the Conquerors? This is actually really, really cool. I like that. Okay, let's use a 5-segment bar as an example. Map 1, you'll be met with the usual packs of monsters that you have become accustomed to. Map 2 will not contain any influence monsters, but will progress the bar. Map 3 will once again contain influence monsters and outcomes. Map 4 will not contain any influence monsters, but will progress the bar. Map 5 will once again contain influence monsters and outcomes. After the 5th map, your bar will be filled, and you'll be able to speak to Kirak and Zana in your hideout to open portals to the Conqueror itself. The upsides of this approach are that long unlucky streaks are much less likely to occur, and you will know ahead of time when you're going to get the 2nd and 3rd influence outcomes. This means that you'll be able to plan ahead and run your best maps to maximize rewards. Okay, so we got to give a round of applause. They're giving us more control, they're giving us more player choice, they're giving us more ways to deterministically farm the actual Atlas that we want to farm and progress the Conquerors on the maps that we want to progress. So I like that. It's going to take us a league to get used to it. We all were just trying to get used to the old Atlas. Which is now only 3 months old, so it's really not that old. But that's going to be interesting. Okay, so what does this have to do with sextants? We are bringing back the sextant vendor recipe. Okay, that was mentioned earlier. You will once again be able to trade 3 of a sextant for 1 of the next best sextant. 3 simple sextants will yield a prime sextant. 3 prime sextants will yield an awakened sextant. Related to sextants, we are adjusting the uses remaining counts for unique watchstones such that they will be divisible by 3, and where changes are being made, we're rounding up. No more watchstones with a single use remaining and the unfun decision about whether to use a sextant on it or not. Okay, that's nice. I like that. The Atlas reshuffle. We are making very minimal changes to the Atlas in Path of Exile Delirium League. Good. Though we'll be making minor adjustments to a few map tiers. Okay, that's fine. Just don't do a whole Atlas reset. I think a lot of us, whether we're veterans or we're newish players, if you've gotten to maps before and you know like what tier and what layouts certain maps are in and what maps are connected to other maps in order to have them drop, like it's nice to have some consistency there and that not always getting switched up. So this will result in Atlas map completion being reset on Standard League. Yep, those of us who play on Standard, we're used to that. Basically, anytime they touch the Atlas, we have to redo the whole thing. You will retain your unique map completion. Oh, that's nice. Completing a high tier map will complete all maps one tier below the map that you completed. For example, completing a tier 15 map will complete all maps up to tier 14. Hey, that's nice for those of us on standard. So you essentially just need to run 16 maps and you'll fill out your atlas again if you already had a fully completed atlas. Awakening level and awakening bonus objectives. We're making a few changes to awakening level bonuses. Your awakening level will be set per 4 watchstones that you have socketed in your atlas. This means that you can have 4 watchstones socketed in 4 different regions, and you'll have awakening level 1. This should result in players having an awakening level that gradually increases as they journey throughout the atlas, rather than almost all of the levels coming much later. Okay, that's kind of nice. So in other words, you don't have to wait until you've gotten, basically essentially really close to just crushing Cirrus and crushing the entire atlas before you start to reap some of those objective bonuses. So that's quite nice. One of our goals is to provide more incentives to complete awakening bonus objectives. Yep, boom, there you go. We'll be taking a few steps to achieve this. We'll be moving the percentage increased effect of monsters on non-unique maps bonus from the awakening level bonus to awakening bonus objectives. This will result in the sought after bonus still being available, but having a different means of acquisition. Otherwise, all the bonuses that awakening levels grant remain as is. Secondly, you'll be able to increase your chance of getting an Atlas mission on completing a map by completing awakening bonus objectives. Hey, like that. We will be reducing the base chance of receiving an Atlas mission chance slightly. Okay, guys. Oh, yeah, you just told me you're buffing something. Now you're nerfing it. But the net result is that with 75 awakening bonus objective complete, you'll be back at 40% chance. Okay, so more incentive for us to farm higher up on our bonus objectives, because in order to reach the same amount that we were at, that's what we'll need to do. We'll need to farm it all out. Okay, I suppose I can live with that. With 150 awakening bonus objectives complete, you'll have a 45% chance to receive an Atlas mission. We'll also be removing the percent chance for maps to drop 1 tier higher bonus from awakening bonus objectives. Ooh, okay. That's interesting. That's actually going to be interesting for high tier map sustain and for bouncing back and forth between maps. Okay, so I'm going to have to think on that. How does that adjust my strategy? Anyway, sorry, I'm getting caught up in my own little delirious strategy here for 3.10. Summary, awakening level bonuses will give you everything they gave before except percent increased effective modifiers on non-unique maps. Bonus objective bonuses are unchanged. Awakening bonus objectives will now give increased effective monsters on non-unique maps up to the 24% previously available, and increased chance of receiving an Atlas mission 10% total, in addition to the base chance of 35%. Okay, all right, I gotta say, GGG does a great job, right? Have you ever heard that saying in business, right? Give a compliment sandwich. You want to give somebody a compliment sandwich? If you have a critique for somebody, you want to start off by saying something nice, like, hey, YouTube, you guys do a great job of leaving comments. And then if you want to leave a critique for somebody, you say, but I think one way that you can improve is, and then you insert your whatever it is that your feedback, your critique is, and then you finish it off with another compliment. I really think you do a great job at providing insightful community discussion, right? So you layer it, right? You layer your compliment, critique, compliment. Well, essentially what GGG does is they actually give us compliment sandwiches whenever they're posting hypes and teases now. It used to be back in the day, and I'm talking like 2.5 and prior, right? We're talking like Breach League and before. It used to be that GGG would just have posts that would be like, hey, we're nerfing this. Hey, we're nerfing that. Or, hey, we're buffing this. Or, hey, we're buffing this. Or massive lists of patch notes, right? And now it seems like their approach in general seems to be, hey, we're going to tell you some really awesome, exciting news that you like. Hey, we're going to tell you some stuff that we might nerf, might change. You might not necessarily like it. And hey, we're going to reinforce it with some more stuff that's more about player agency and that's more about some stuff that you might like. I like that approach. I think it's a good thing. Anyway, that's just me and my totally biased, super fanboy approach to everything and anything that Grinding Gear Games does in terms of relating and communicating with us as a gaming community. So those are my thoughts. This sounds like a really, really good change. This graphic, by the way, looks amazing. Like the fact that we didn't have anything visual inside Path of Exile to show us, not just to tell us, right? We had audio cues and we had stuff like, if you essentially had a piece of paper with you, you could track your progress on taunting conquerors and building progression. But this as a visual indicator, like we're all gamers, we're all using our eyes to interact with the screen and the pixels and the game that we're playing, right? Having a visual indicator that shows us, hey, you're actually making progress on this particular objective that you are trying to push for is really, really helpful. So 2 thumbs up for that as a design choice, and of course 2 thumbs up in the way how GGG always do a great job of communicating with us as a community fan base. That's just my opinion. Anyway, I'd love to hear your opinion down below in the thoughts about how this is going to change the Atlas progression system as well as the quality of life features that are being added. Feel free to drop a comment down below, and I hope 3.10 Delirium League is the league that a Mirror of Calandra drops for you. Thanks for watching that video. If you'd like more information on any of our discussion points today, you can see them down below in the video description. If you'd also like to join our Discord or support our Patreon, you can do so with the links down below. Thanks again, and big shout out to all of our Patreon supporters.